I'm just kidding about that part. He didn't ask me to do this. But Chris Wallace used to work administrative with us. He used to work for Ernie Stallworth, who's his upline RVP, and help him with his administration. He didn't join right away. Like a lot of us, I'm sure he had his doubts and his fears and everything else. And Ernie, I remember Ernie talking to me about Chris, and he would tell me Chris is doing something a little part-time. Then I'd ask Ernie, so I think Chris Wallace is going to do it. And Ernie has got his own style. He gets to run his business his own way. And over the years, Chris Wallace went from being someone working in his office to being somebody that was doing some good part-time income, to somebody that became an RVP, to somebody that's making a six-figure income with us. And the reason these people are speaking to you is because they've improved their business over the last 2 months. Out of the 29 participants that are regional vice presidents this last month, the last 2 months, excuse me, they increased their income 25 of the 29, okay, by an average of 35%. Imagine going into your office right now and asking your boss for a 35% raise and then standing back and watching what the reply will be. Here we get to take our raises. We get to go do it. Chris Wallace, income up in the last 2 months, 54%, not 30%, 54%. His securities volume up 55%. The size of his hierarchy, you're going to hear us say base shop and stuff you may not have heard of before. That's basically the number of people he's currently got working with him. Increase that by 10%. I asked Chris Wallace to talk to us about things to do in the first 90 days. Everyone that comes across this stage has got a different story, got a different reason, but we all have one thing in common. We all believe Primerica has been the right vehicle for us. Please help me welcome to the stage a wonderful human being. He's listened up closely to what he's got to say, Regional Vice President Chris Wallace.
How's everybody doing this morning? Hey, how about another big hit for our leader, Terry Turley? You know what I love about Terry is he's either challenging you to get better at something that you're struggling with, or he knows that you're working on it already, and he's going to help you get better. And when I got that phone call this week, I was like, oh shit. I'm not sure which one it's going to be. And here's the funny thing about it. It was something I was already working on. And here's the wonderful thing about Primerica. You work with a ton of people, and I'm going to tell you, every vice president in the room has got a system somewhat like what I'm going to talk about for the next few minutes. And everyone has contributed to my system. But because I get to speak about it now, I get to pretend that I invented all of this for the first time. So here's the thing. What are you going to do with a new associate in the first 90 days? What are you going to help them to accomplish? And the important part about it is that you and your new recruit feels just like this. How many of you watched this game? How many of you got to this point and said all of those words you can't say on TV? Right? I mean, there was no way that they were going to come back. Unless you were my wife. Because I was at another party, and I called her and I said, there's no reason to stay here, I'll be home in a little bit. She says, you're about to miss the greatest comeback of all time. And I said, honestly, and pardon my French, bullshit. That's not going to happen. But let me ask you this question. If you knew how it was going to end and what the outcome was, do you think you might act a little bit differently? If you knew that really your end spot was going to be to end up like Terry Turley or Norm De Silva, do you think you'd work a little harder? Now, do you know what makes the Patriots different from every other team in the league? That's actually not true. That's a small part of the equation. And it's not in a slide, and you might want to write this down. The difference is that they practice harder than anybody else. They are more prepared than anybody else. See, at the end of that game, when the Falcons were completely and totally gassed, the Patriots were just like slipping into third gear. They were just getting started. My question to you is, are you just getting started? Now, with everybody who has a 3x3 banner, please stand up. Yeah! Give them a hand. Stay standing. Stay standing. Here's what it is. How many of you would like to have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of these people on your team? And get them to do 3x3. Thank you, guys. Sit down. So what I'm about to tell you are the things you can do to make sure that this happens. And probably my favorite saying of all times from the great Zig Ziglar is, you can have everything in life you want if you just help enough other people get there what they want. And I don't even know where Terry is, and I know we didn't talk before. Terry, that slide was friggin' brilliant. If you didn't get a copy of that slide about the why and the questions more important, you should have that conversation with every new recruit, and then when they call you up and say they can't schedule an appointment, or they can't do this, or they can't do that, or whatever, you get to talk to them about their why. It's the only thing that creates leverage for you in your business and in theirs. It's the only thing that allows you to move forward in spite of the frustration and the crap and everything that everybody's going to go through. You help them get what you want, you will get what you want. The reason the folks that have the ring and have done things higher is they have simply helped more people get what they want than you have. What sucks, especially for the people who stood up earlier, is you've got more time to do it than I do, and that Terry does. Okay? If you're 20 or 30, you got 30 years on. You got 30 years more. Now, let me tell you, the faster you help people get what they want, the faster you get what you want. So here's the thing. There are a ton of different ways to achieve peace. But as Terry said, and believe me, like, I didn't see his presentation, he didn't see my presentation, right? You have to develop a system in order for it to happen. You have to do something that you can do over and over again, and eventually you can teach other people to do over and over again. As I say, if you find a system, you'll find peace. Why? Because you just do the same thing over and over and over again. And everything will fall into place. And if you develop a system, great. And if you don't have one, find somebody that's got a system and just follow theirs. It doesn't matter. If you've made $100,000 in Primerica, stand up. Stand up. Don't go grab a piece of pizza and stand in the corner. Go grab a piece of pizza and spend time with these people today. They'll teach you what it is. Give these people a hand, please. So my newest recruit was completely and totally terrified and didn't do anything for 6 months. But we talked about her why, and her why was she wanted a little house. She says, what do I need to do for a little house? I said, I don't know, what's the mortgage payment on a little house? She said, about $1,000 a month. How many people in the room believe you can make $1,000 a month in Primerica? Yeah. So that's her why. That's her why. All I need to do is convince her she can make $1,000 a month. Now, she got inspired. She went to a meeting like this, which inspired her to move forward. She canceled a bunch of plans and went to a convention. She promptly came back and scheduled 5 first kitchen table appointments. In the first week we've been back. The first appointment, $1,500 as a new person. What do you make for $1,500 policy? $750 if you're a district. What if you're a new person? $375, right? Or thereabouts, $300. I said, could you do that like once a week? You think you could afford the mortgage payment? She says, I think I can get a bigger house. But what you've got to do first is make sure they get their plan in place. Biggest challenge when you're out there in the field, what do you have? If you don't own a Primerica life insurance policy, shame on you. If you don't have investment, shame on you. If there are other products and services you can take advantage on, take advantage of them. Make sure they're taking advantage of everything they can. Because the worst thing that can happen is you're at the kitchen table and, do you have that? Don't get caught in that, okay? The other thing that I love about this business is that you need to help them get the information they need to overcome objections. We're all going to get them. The best way to do it, obviously, is either through field training or prospecting with them. But make sure they know the resources that are available to them. Make sure they know how to get to Primerica online. I had a new recruit, I had signed him up, I had shown him how to get online, And he was like, well, what's under this button? I tell everybody, get on there and have some fun. Do some research, figure it out. You should have some packet of information that you're giving to every new recruit, and the first piece of paperwork in that packet ought to be that slide on the why that Terry gave you. That's going to be the first in mine now. Mine has, what's your why, on a piece of paper, but it doesn't have any questions. Why is useless without questions, without information, okay? Take them on appointments and make sure you get them scripts. Where's Terry again? Terry, that packet, years ago you showed us that was green. Was it Jeff Fieldstaff? His new orientation? Get that if you don't have it. All the questions are written out in the back. They're awesome. The scripts are written out in the back. I've used those several times. It's kind of funny. They say, and Martha said to me, it was kind of funny. She says, I said what you told me to say, and people said yes. Well, do you think I'd give you a script so people would say no? She's like, oh my God, I can't. We were having lunch the other day. I was telling somebody else earlier today. We were having lunch the other day, and I just said, do you want to make some extra money? And he said, yes. I said, great. When can you have coffee? He said, tomorrow. She said, that's so simple. Our business is simple. You just got to open your mouth. And most of us are afraid to do it. Look, we tend to try and make things too simple. She was asking me what we did, and we were in Indianapolis. So I just sketched this out on a notepad and gave it to her. She said, that's all I got to do to double my income? I said, yeah. She said, what's that going to take? I said, I don't know, you're pretty good. You might have to talk to actually 5 people to get 3 recruits. Maybe 10. I'm not exactly sure. And then that's what will happen. But you've got to give them, again, the tools. After the IBA is completed, it's important that you get them on POL. And it's important that you get them to download that app, because they cannot go through the sprint to district. Do you know how long I spent looking on Primerica online to do the sprint to district thing? Oh my God, it was like I couldn't find it. But it's in the app. You also can't download your contacts from that. It's in the app. It's one of the best ways to get stuff put together. Get them registered for class. Here's something that we do that Terry alluded to a couple of schools ago in Maine, is we make sure that we take them out for lunch. We show up at the class and we take them out for lunch. And then what I do, because we teach the class at my office, is I get all their credit cards. I get all their credit cards and I sign them up for the exam. So I got 2 people tonight and 1 on Wednesday that are taking the exam. They're not going to sign themselves up. Do you remember when you took the exam? Oh my God, what the hell am I going to do? What have I got myself into? It's not that difficult. And here's the thing, they're not going to study for the exam until you sign them up anyways. So why even bother getting them into class? Just sign them up. Make sure they download the app. Make sure they're using the Sprint to District. And your RVPs can customize that. The reality is there's a ton of great information out there. The more information you get to them, the better off you are. Okay? The other thing is you've got to develop your own brand. Anybody ever walked in a house and said, hi, my name is Chris Wallace and I'm from Primerica? There wasn't a hand I saw that went up there. They don't care about the company. They care about you and the new recruits you brought with you. You've got to develop your own brand. You've got to come up with some goals for your team. Our team is committed to getting 100 new licensed representatives in the next 2 years. Why? Because I know if I do that, I'll achieve ownership. And that's all that's important to me right now for our team. And here's the thing. You think maybe there'll be some 3x3 people in that process? You think maybe there'll be a vice president or 2 in that process? You think some people will maybe make some money in that process? It's all about what we believe in, which is everybody will win together. What other tools can you use? We use GroupMe, which is a great tool to communicate back and forth on. We have a conference call 3 days a week. I allow people access to my calendar so they can schedule appointments and not call my office and figure it out. And then you've got to talk about your why. Why am I in this business? Right now, currently, I'm in this business, so there aren't any loans coming from my son as he gets ready to graduate college. We've been able to pay cash for that. Cash for that to the tune of about $52,000 a year. How many people want to pay cash for college for the kids? Maybe that's your why, I don't know. And it's going to change on a regular basis. The biggest thing is helping them achieve their why. And get them started. Get some teammates on their team. Get them out in the field so they can see what you do. Get them to learn the language that they have to teach. Teach them how to become a 3x3 new associate. Teach them how to get a banner at the school. Teach them how you get your own banner at the school. And make sure you're constantly getting names and numbers. And folks, listen to me. If you are not using social media in some way, shape, or form in your business, you are double dumb. Here's what's going to happen in the next year or two. You're going to be finishing brushing your teeth. And you're going to say, oh, I'm just about out of toothpaste. And you're going to say, Alexa, please order me some more toothpaste. And Alexa's going to say, I'm sorry, Chris. Colgate recognized a few days ago that you were almost out of toothpaste, and it will arrive tomorrow because there's a chip implanted in your toothpaste. There's going to be eventually a Primerica chip implanted in shit, probably in their savings account, that says, you're screwed, call somebody in Primerica. That's what's going to happen, okay? So if you're not starting to understand how technology works, I believe you're missing 50% of the potential compensation. And how else can they get involved? Okay. Have your new associate participate in everything you can get them to participate in. We have meetings every Tuesday night. One of the unique things we do about our meetings is we have an opportunity meeting and a client seminar going on at the same time. And here's what happens. The clients want to know what's going on in that room, and the new associates want to know what's going on in the other room. And we use that as training for the new associates. So it's a great thing, and all credit to my wife, Kim, for that. She designed that program. Give her a hand. Conference calls 3 times a week for folks to check in. We want them to get on Primerica online and see PFN and TV. I invite them again because they have access to my client to every appointment. There's never an appointment where it says, don't come with me. All the local events that we do and our leadership schools. The more you can get them in front of Primerica, the more they'll become Primerica. And most importantly, make sure they have fun. Make sure they have fun. Also make sure they make money. Listen to me. You can have a lot more fun if you make money. Kim and I went to 2 concerts this week. In both of those, we were in the 4th row. 4th row isn't free. But 4th row, we just write a check. We don't think about it. And my wife is a live music nut. She goes to 4 or 5 concerts a week in the summertime in Maine. I can't tell you, I don't even know the name of some of these performers. But it's what's important to her. So I tell her just to do it. All we got to do is go recruit somebody else and we pay for next season's concerts. That's all you have to do. And here's the thing. You have to build champions that have the ability to build champions, that have the ability to build champions, that have the ability to build champions, so you can have what you want and they can have what they want. Have a great day.